There are no cornfields, at least that we can see from the Cafe Dostoevsky exterior. It's a little too snowy for that, unfortunately, and that might explain why OXG have struggled so much on Cafe through this last couple of months. They went 0-2 on this map in the NALCQ, so against some Tier 2 teams, some squads that didn't make it. They were unable to find any victory. They did win it on the final day of groups against Enterprise, Parker, but that was a 7-5 victory. It was a close game, and Enterprise, unfortunately, dead last here at the Six Invitational, so unfortunately weren't able to find any success for the Australians here in Paris. Means that it's going to be an uphill battle for Oxygen. You did say the stat, and I want to repeat it here, that Heretics have yet to win the first map of a series since this tournament began. They are notoriously slow starters, and they've talked about it in interviews. I know there was a great conversation that was had a few weeks ago, I think earlier in group stage, by Oscar, where he talked about how sometimes, just because they are a younger team, because they do have a little bit less experience, they can be a bit nervous loading into some of these games, but once they get the ability to warm up, once they are able to learn their opponents and really read what kind of a play style they like to go for, Heretics are able to heat up and do a lot better later in the series.
And if that stat does end up being wrong, if somebody says, wait a minute, no, they actually did win this, it was Fresh who told us. So you can blame him.
There you go.
Jack looks great in his cream/off-white colored turtleneck. Jesse, you in your off-white cable knit.
And you in your mustard yellow sweater as well.
I look like Arthur.
Yeah, I could see that. Ball.
I look like Arthur,
yeah.
But I didn't bring my appropriate glasses. Heading into this series, it's a giant disparity between the top and the bottom of Heretics. We imagine that both Flexi and Groovy will be carrying the weight for this team. They have some hard support. Unfortunately for them, Skeptic enters as one of the lowest rated players in the entire event. Yaga is also down there, but again, if these guys are going to be doing most of the primary shot calling, they're going to be doing most of the dirty work. And when I say dirty work, I mean the thankless work. You're not really expecting them to have a great rating, and you're certainly not expecting them to find a lot of kills in the process. Yeah, and that Miraban as well, going to be targeting Groovy, one of the best players that you were just talking about here on Heretics. Loves to play it on this reading room bomb sites, and Heretics, they're kind of a weird team. You won't see this squad go to defend the top floor. Instead, it's mid, and we've already got a strap from Oxygen in with the blitz and in with the frags. Of course, it's Forrest, who's thrown his brain into the map, and it's working out so effectively. Diffuser now at the halfway point, just about finished. There she goes, 8 players still alive. What was over 2 minutes left in the round will now get dramatically shortened to 45 seconds. A retake from Heretics will be mighty tough. Yaga on the board very early. You don't expect many kills from him. How about a sensational round to start off with? 1 kill's all he's going to find as Oscar shuts him down. And there's Forrest getting active too. Groovy in the ground. Flexi and Oscar, last 2 standing. And this blitz just terrorizing them. Forrest, the absolute pain point for this Heretic squad as he dances with a blinded Azami. Flexi hopping on that defuse kit, has to get off. Now it's Oscar's attempt. Grixer and Forrest will get the final 2 kills. A breakneck pace set by OXG on round number 1. You gotta pace your opponents very effectively, and OXG will go up 1-0. Yeah, I think that's a bit of homework coming out from Oxygen, understanding that that reading room bomb site was very likely to come out first, so they draw up a little rush strat that they're expecting to play in the first round of the game. And maybe they even know about Heretic's slow starts in these tournaments. They recognize that this young European team kind of don't do well on map 1s. They do take a little bit to load into the game, so why not give them something really annoying to deal with right off the bat? Didn't bother taking top floor control, didn't bother droning out some of those offsite positions, said let's just go in the site, get that defuse kit down ASAP. What are they going to do about it? Perfectly played by Forrest, of course, one of the best blitz players that we have inside of North America. You will often see him running in on very annoying operators, the Ying, the blitz, ops that are trying to get space, disorient you, and take it without really waiting too long, or without trying to pace themselves at all. So good to see Forrest playing his playstyle here at SI. I mean, if there's ever a player who's going to strike fear into the hearts of competitors, and probably strike fear into the hearts of his own team sometimes, it's Forrest. We are professionals. We don't get everything right. And there are things that we miss because we are human. And this game is really challenging to spectate and catch every single thing, especially if you're not a coach who is tuned into everything that might happen. But there are plenty of times where we will watch Forrest play, and we will watch professional coaches and former players, and they will look at what Forrest is doing and go, what is he doing? And if they, smarter than us, say that, maybe sometimes Forrest is going, what am I doing? I'm sure there's a method to the madness, but madness is a part of this OXG team, and frankly, it's been a part of every team that Forest has been on. It makes for quite the spectacle, but it's entertaining to watch.
Forest has his own way to play the game, Parker, and listen, it got him to the Six Invitational. It's gotten him this far. Certainly has found a lot of success on previous squads as well. Core part of that Space Station gaming roster, which has done so well over the last couple of years. Multiple deep international runs with him on the team. Was traded to Oxygen in exchange for Newers at the beginning of this season, and I think that trade has worked, frankly, pretty well for both teams. I think especially with SSG looking like they are one of the top teams in the world, still trying to prove that on their own lower bracket run. This is a full bottom floor hold from Heretics. A little bit of pressure on the white stairs from Groovy. Maybe wants to get a little bit cute with it, but gets droned out. Valkyrie camera there was hopefully going to feed him some information, but decides to rotate all the way back in towards Whiskey. And now they can start to get to work with this vert play, Parker. They've got the buck, but more excitingly, they've got this fuse as well from Forest. It is Fuse Shield. He's going to be trying to plant with that thing on his back, but before he gets to it, launch down those cluster charges. Try to clear out some of maybe the Kite Claw, maybe some of those Surya Gates, maybe the Lamai Magnets as well, or even just displace people, right? It's pretty easy to dodge these cluster charges because they are so telegraphed where they're coming through, but it makes you move no matter what.
You said two words that made me black out, so I didn't hear what else you said. You said Fuse Shield, and then I just immediately went into a fit of rage. But I mean, you've already seen it do some serious work. Oscar's taken a bit of damage. It has completely pushed these defenders off of that freezer spot. Forest is still up there. At this point, he's got one cluster charge in back pocket as there go the ROU projectors. Not been gone up. They will do so, and now Forest will watch. Just waiting for the call to go over this B bomb site. Look at how far back Heretics are. Jesse, they have completely bailed out of this bomb site.
Yeah, they're letting them have their space right now. This is a bomb site that you can retake, and they've actually just waited for those walls to go down. Don't know if Yaga purposely put them down or if they ran out. He puts them back up, and now this will be the real plant.
And an opportunity to get Diffuser down. Groovy dies. Flexi taking some damage. So far, objective play working out very effectively for OXG. Shutting down Heretics.
Wow.
OXG suffers a single death. Skeptic the only player to get a kill. And my, what an incredible round from OXG. 2 in a row here. Doing something on Cafe that is quite unheard of. One of the most defender-sided bomb sites in the game and one of the most defender-sided maps. And OXG have not made it look so.
Very clear that Auction came into this match with a game plan. 2 really good strats to start at the Six Invitational here in the lower bracket versus Team Heretics. And I think you can honestly trace this back to the map veto, Parker. Heretics picking Cafe was kind of an obvious pick. All of the maps that we have on our three maps here today are maps that Heretics have played a lot through the group stage. They've shown a lot of VODs on them. And even if OXG aren't going up against the exact same comps that Heretics have shown against other teams, Oxygen very obviously knew this map was coming out. It was not going to be a surprise that Heretics picked it just because of how often they played it through groups so far and because of Oxygen's poor record on it throughout the North American Last Chance qualifier. So they prepped their strategies. They came in with cool little plays. Obviously that Fuse and then Sen's combo being brought by Oxygen allowed that plan to go down just by the sinks, where it was able to use those Sense walls as coverage, and there wasn't really anything Heretics had that could stop that plant from going down. They got displaced by the cluster charges, and then the plant perfectly placed by Forest. The ideas from Oxygen have been really good to start this series.
Today is a day of doom and gloom. While we celebrate teams, and we will celebrate 8 squads, we will also say goodbye to half of the teams remaining at the Six Invitational. Earlier on this stream, we said goodbye to Daystar. The APAC team is no longer here. Who else will fall? One of these teams, OXG or Heretics, will join them, as there'll be a lot of flights leaving Paris tomorrow morning. A shame they just set up a crepe station, actually, in catering, so these players better get one on the way out.
I'm sure that'll be top of their mind.
Hey, we might have lost.
SI.
I believe the phrase is, we might have lost the war, but we won the battle for crepes. So, really, not all is lost.
Well, as I told you at the start of this game, Heretics do not play the top floor on Cafe, so expect a full 3-site rotation on these bottom 3 sites. It is mining dining to finish the rotation through the first quarter, and Heretics are using a really cool strat with this pulse to try to gather that information. This is another kind of new setup that we haven't seen out of Heretics. They're not playing the same setups that we've seen them play previously through the group stage. They just have been countered by Auction. They've done a great job of reading them despite the new things being brought out.
Halfway point of the round right now, and by far and away the slowest pace that we have seen through the 3 rounds played up to this point. Gomez on rappel will take down Groovy. Groovy being first death so early in these rounds is not helping Heretics, especially when he's one of the 2 players on the squad who has a positive KD. Flexi, the other player with a positive KD, and he's as good as gone. Now Skeptic will falter too. What is going on with this Heretics team? They are on the right side of this map. OXG opting to attack first. They certainly knew something that we didn't. The job for Oxygen should get easier the deeper we go into this. Oh my! Oscar with 2 relatively easy kills. But his position over on red stairs now known. You said the fuse cluster charges were telegraphed. Well, the Valkyrie getting back to the bomb site, equally telegraphed now. Shrugging off a bit of damage as diffuser gets planted by Grixer, who then finishes the job. When do you call a timeout of your Heretics? Because it's 3-0 for the North Americans on your map.
It's a great question, Parker. Through this SI, we actually got the stat that it is most common to see attack timeout after round 3. The majority attack timeouts, or at least the plurality of them, have been called after this 3rd round. So we'll see if that does get called by DMC, head coach of Team Heretics. We'll have to go through the operator bans first. Great little double entry from Gomez there, if I can give him a little praise. Playing on the red stairs, expecting good aggression. Mike is up for DMC, and we are playing the replays, so I believe we are no timeout. So this is going to be Heretics coach trusting in the boys to bring this matchup back. There was a lot of aggression in that previous round, Parker. Bombsite was mining, dining, but basically everybody died fighting in that top floor, and it's not just like you're fighting for cocktail or fighting for bar. They were getting aggressive inside piano, inside of cigar. I mean, these are not areas of the map where you often see multiple players pushing for engagements. Gomez was patient. He was cautious. He watched for those swings. He pushed forward out the door when he needed to and then retreated when he had to as well. I thought Gomez played that expertly. At a -6 KD, he's been the best Oxygen player so far through the tournament.
It's not just the 2 players he took down too, right? I noted if it's Groovy and Flexi you're getting rid of, then the 2 guys who usually are on the aggressive roles with some of the best aim on the team are off the board. You can breathe a bit of sigh of relief. Not that any of the remaining players on Heretics are something to sneeze at, but I mean, if the 2 that usually dominate good opposition are gone, your job should get a little bit easier.
And if Oxygen have been thriving off of strong prep work, Parker, this is going to throw them for a bit of a loop. For the first time at the Six Invitational, Heretics will choose to defend the top floor. This is their 4th time playing the map. They do not play this bomb site historically, so hoping to switch things up, hoping to catch Oxygen off guard. Knowing this was coming is probably part of the reason why DMC didn't want to call the attack timeout. He knew his team still had one more trick up their sleeves. If this goes 0-4, then that tack is surely to come.
Just to underscore how typically defender-sided this map is, all 4 bomb sites see regular play. This top floor, as you pointed out, not just for Heretics, but for everybody actually, Jesse. It's the least played bomb site.
Wow.
And it is the weakest defender win rate with 50%. Every other bomb site is won more often than not by the defenders. OXG did not get that memo. I guess Heretics technically didn't either. So now they're going to go to what is statistically the weakest defender bomb site and hang their hat on that particular top floor. And, well, OXG are likely to be prepared for it. They've looked quite prepped for all 3 of these sites so far. I see no reason why they wouldn't be successful here on Cocktail.
With the Valkyrie ban, they're going to use this Echo to try to get around that and have information. They've got Flexi playing down below with a Nitro Cell to hopefully be able to get one of those players if they try to drop in on the new hatch, or if they end up over in that cigar area. He's playing just inside of Pillar at the moment. Gomez hoping for a flank, but none come his way, and they will walk into Cigar, and Flexi, actually the angle from below, that's through the hatch, I believe, takes down Gomez. Nice little tricky spot.
And a huge first blood for this Heretic squad that are desperate for just about anything at this point in time. Now, Flexi did get the opening pick on round number 1. It did not work out in their favor. OXG trades it back pretty quickly, and now Groovy is on the move. That back bar position upstairs, under watch by OXG. A minute left on the clock. You've lost Gomez, but you haven't lost the round just yet. Still plenty of utility, and Yaga does still control the diffuser. As Adam walks in, and Upor has that angle. Advantage goes back to Heretics.
Yaga Grixer playing together in piano. Forrest, the one player who's over on that cocktail side, he's got to be a distraction or capitalizing off of all the eyes that are currently trained west.
Still in this back bar and freezer. Echo, a very common spot to be in. I mean, Echoes have been playing in that freezer portion of this top floor for almost a decade now, frankly. I mean, Echo was released in 2016, if memory serves correctly, in the fall of 2016 when Red Crow came out. I should know this. It's the season I started playing. Grixer shuts down Skeptic. Grixer now bleeding out, though, paying for his trouble as Yaga looks to sweep on in. That's his teammate, but he's clearing out with his own set of eyes. Will die to Upor in this position, and Forrest is miles away, dying to Groovy, who picks up a double. And would you believe it? The least favorable bomb site for the defenders ends up working out in favor, and Heretics do finally get on the board.
Don't think it's a coincidence as well that the first time we see Heretics go to a new bomb site, Oxygen start to stall out a little bit. That's by far the slowest push that we've seen from OXG. 20 seconds in that round, and they still didn't know exactly what they wanted to do. Ended up just being the call to run deep, try to get that kills, understanding they probably couldn't get a plant with some of those yokais potentially still up and around the bomb site too. So I like the call to go deep and try to fight the kills. In the end, Grixer's only good for one, and then it's a good swing from Upor over towards Cocktail, which finishes off the brunt of that push. Forrest, not really impactful. I said he had to be the main player getting that pinch pressure in, but wasn't able to do so. So Heretics get on the board. They finally get one round win. The problem is, Parker, they win their first bomb site in round 4, which means it's going to be locked for the rest of the half. If that's the one bomb site where they are stronger than OXG, where they could catch the North Americans off guard, then they're not going to get to repeat it until at least overtime.
That's a rough place to go. Good news, though, you still have positive win rates for the remaining bomb sites. You just need to approach them maybe a bit better. The Valkyrie has been taken care of in the previous round. There's some good speculation that I saw on social media as to whether or not we would see more Grim bans. Grim having the highest prominence rate of attackers through most of Phase 1. I did see Grim bans start to tick up a bit, so maybe those numbers came down as we shifted here into Phase 2, but Grim really does it all. Great gadgetry. The Commando's a good gun. You got the Bailiff as a secondary. You got secondary hard breach. There is literally no weakness to Grim, especially now that one of his biggest counters, which was Mute, got nerfed. Now if you shoot that Grim Bee near a Mute Jammer, it still activates because Mute only works on active gadgets that you have to turn on. So Grim obviously seeing a buff in that regard, and yeah, great jack of all trade ops and has a lot of strength here on this map. They can get a bit claustrophobic.
Grixer was on the Grim in round number 1, Parker. It's the only time we've seen OXG bring that operator out, but that was for the rush strategy on reading. Don't forget, we're back to reading, but OXG clearly not going for the same style of push, so I don't know if they even would have brought a Grim through this 5th round. Obviously, was still a strong operator, can be good, especially against this Azami, as you try to force her out of these positions. They've got the DMRs instead, of course, to try to rip through those Kiba barriers and make it so that this last player inside of Piano Groovy can't find success. It's a run out from Flexi, who had the intel thanks to his pulse scanner right out the back door to take down Grixer, and it's the Habana for the first player to fall.
Flexi has now drawn blood first 3 times in this series. That is very good stuff, and again, he came in as the highest rated player on this team, just 1 point above Groovy with a plus 21 KD. Skeptic will die at the hands of Forrest. That's a bit of an early death for Skeptic. Oscar will trade it back and then immediately die at the hands of Yaga. Neither of these teams gaining much of an advantage. Upor will be the only one whose phone not ringing as the logic bomb goes off, but Upor is seated on top of that Mute Jammer. This is a rough go of it for Flexi, who will now ascend red stairs with just a little bit under a minute left. If Flexi can heat up and Groovy can help him, this might get dire for OXG.
Defenders on the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd floor. Now Flexi will change that as he vacates the bottom floor of Cafe, trying to go for a bit of a flank, link up perhaps with Upor. This is a very spread out defense from Heretics. Oxygen have done a good job picking it apart so far, but at some point they've got to start thinking about when this plant is going to go down. It is sitting in the A bomb site just inside a fireplace.
Flexi's still roaming. I don't know if they have a read on him. He's getting closer to the bomb site, but he's evaded their gaze for the time being. Yaga seems to have a basic idea, but you underestimate him at your peril. He pulls trig on the UMP. Down goes Gomez at the hands of Groovy. Flexi is still tucked in this position. Yaga now all alone. The Og Dog's got some bark and some bite, but he's running out of time. He doesn't hold Diffuse Kit, and he's still got 2 players to confront on the side of Heretics. Whether they get the kill or not, they'll win the round. They do get the kill, but the timer was under a second away from giving Heretics their 2nd round, and this first half is tightening up. You were correct. Having faith in his boys, not calling the timeout. We would have said, oh, look, he called the timeout. They immediately converted 2 rounds, and then we would give him a golf clap. But no, he trusted the boys, and they're getting it done.
Yeah, we see that a lot this SI with coaches blowing their tack timeouts early. It feels like it's been more often than previous events where tack timeouts get blown in the first 3 or 4 rounds, and then the coaches, they don't have any tools left in the second half to try to recover when things start to go south. So really nice to see Heretics bringing this one back. Oxygen, for their part, 2 rounds in a row now, Parker, where they get to the mid-round and they just stall. They get to a 3v4, or in that round, a 3v3. It was good moves from Heretics to get to that point, but I liked the trades from Oxygen as well. Yaga was really well placed inside of Mining. They had a couple of positions that Heretics were not aware of, despite the pulse being played down inside of Bakery, but at the end of the day, it was just that stall that happened once again for OXG. They can't let that happen a third time. They were on pace to dominate this first half. If it falls to a 3-3 split, that might start getting in their heads.
OXG are a team that often, as we saw in North America, can completely collapse when things go bad. Lots of long faces on that squad. You need good leadership to bring your team back from the brink. Maybe that's a part of why Yaga took the reins from Forest on this squad. Things have been relatively even keel on the side of Heretics here, which again is not abnormal, but everybody is contributing in some way, shape, or form. The lone standout is Skeptic. That we come to know, and as I said, his numbers are really quite poor. He entered with a -46. That is among the worst we have seen at the Six Invitational. And I mean, again, that's his role. He is not designed to get kills. He is not designed to be an early action. He, out of 142 rounds played, has only been involved in early action 11 of those rounds. So he plays very sheltered. Again, that's what you come to expect with a guy who's going to be playing primarily Hard Breach, Hibana, and Smoke being his 2 most played operators. And well, that just kind of comes with the turf. We started off this first half with a rush on the blitz, or a rush on the site, and we will see it yet again as Forest charges in, but Heretics are ready for it. They've already counterpunched. OXG losing 2 players. You can't lose any more, or that'll be the round. And with it, the first half will go down. 1 kill from OXG at this point in time, but the kills will continue to come in for Heretics. Right now, leading the way, Grixer in a 1v3, shut down by Flexi. Read so well. Skeptic gets on the board too. The go for broke strategy ends with that last word. Jesse broke 3-3 the first half, and a good recovery from Heretics.
And I'm really glad you brought up Skeptic in the midst of that, Parker, because he really was the player who stepped up in that anchor position. Wasn't needed as much through the first 5 rounds, but it's not just the 2 kills he got in the midst of that push while Oxygen were jumping in through the mining and through the red windows, but more importantly, he was the one sitting in sight that identified that rush was going to come their way. He was smoking the rush before it even began, before anybody hopped in a window. He was chucking toxic babes at them. It was really nice information being come through from Heretics as they got that intel. They were aware of the plan Oxygen were trying to go for. They smoked it out before it could even come out. And you got to think, maybe for OXG, are we being a little bit too telegraphed in that final rush?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talking through the middle portion now as we swap sides. Heretics will go onto the harder side of Cafe statistically. Again, every single bomb site is at worst a 50% win rate for the defenders. It stretches upwards as you rotate around the map. I will not bore you with the individual numbers because some of your eyes will glaze over as I just vomit words and numbers that you don't get to see on your screen. But believe us when we say this is the 3rd most defender-sided map in the map pool, and every bomb site is favorable and fertile soil for these defenders. So OXG should have an advantage here. But again, familiarity is important too. Heretics picked this map. They are trying to do something that they have been unable to do so far through Phase 1 and Phase 2, and that's win map 1. If you lose map 1, you lose your own map choice, you are constantly on the razor's edge. You don't want to be there.
I like the operator bans coming through from Oxygen. Both Grim and Capitao taken out. Grim, one of the only operators that UPOR likes to play here on Cafe. He's a big Grim fan, so he's going to have to find something else to switch over to. Looks like it's the Ying to start things off, so an explosive change of operators for him. And then the Capitao, often brought out by Skeptic and sometimes Oscar as well, to initiate some of those pushes, give themselves a little bit of space to go for some of those rushes perhaps as well. And really, it's 2 displacement operators from OXG being taken off the board. So they're hoping to hunker down and play certain positions. Heretics watch Forrest on that blitz go for a quick reading rush, and they think to themselves, why don't we do the exact same thing? Skeptic outside the door now. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but they are certainly poised to go for the very same rush that Oxygen started this map with.
Yaga and Adam now upstairs inside of Cocktail waiting for what could materialize
Here it is.
as a rush. Lion scans, logic bombs, candelas, and a blitz looking to go off to the races. Skeptic is in the sight, and there's the coverage from above. Read so well by Adam, tearing strips through these attackers. Killing Skeptic, getting a good piece of Oscar. Adam gets another over on Flexi. Adam has been deceptively quiet so far in this series. He'll finish what he started on Oscar now, leaving just Groovy to clutch out. Maybe an impactless kill on to Grixer. 4 more to be found on the side of OXG. Grixer, some salty words in the chat. I don't know, maybe he was actually being genuine, but I very much doubt it. A huge round from Adam as he picks up a 4K. And that first defender side goes in favor of the North Americans.
Pretty little three-piece for the Californian. Of course, playing on that Warden inside a Cocktail, really nice positioning, was so ready for that. The second that they heard the logic bombs, the second that he saw the candelas being tossed in, I was really worried, and I was getting ready to criticize Adam for saying they don't have holes on the reading door. Adam is playing Cocktail position, but he's got no angle down on the doorway, down the default plant spot. That could come back to bite them. But he was so quick to toss that nitro cell. Clearly that was his plan all along. He said, if we're going to get rushed, I can just chuck that out, give myself the angle, and it almost gave a false sense of confidence because Heretics droned that. They saw that there were no holes up above the default plant, so they said, we can go for this rush. They're not ready for it, but OXG, so smart to bait that out right there with the nitro and get an angle to kill 2 players down through the verts. Another one as well coming horizontally. I mean, he just played so phenomenally throughout the entirety of that round. Has often been the best player on Oxygen, has often also been the worst player on Oxygen this season. His inconsistencies has been his biggest problem, but in that round, and I think through this game, he's been looking really, really tight.
There aren't really any good numbers on the side of OXG. Every single player entered this matchup with a negative KD. The best KD on the team was Gomez at -6. Adam followed at -8. And then it kind of drops off a cliff, going all the way down to Yaga in last. So it really does kind of cover over how bad this OXG team has been from a consistency perspective. They have really struggled. Now, mind you, they did have a bit of a tough group, so we will give them a nod there. I would argue their group was tougher than the Heretics group. I know that some people would disagree with me, and that's fine. Disagreement is quite healthy. But either way, OXG have the lead here on Heretics map. So maybe there's something to be said for all this prep that's come in. Heretics need to be concerned with their own attacks.
And here comes Parker, another rush.
I was stunned there. I was like, no way they're doing it again, Jesse. And they are. They're off to the races once more. The sound of the starting gun is the EE1D used by Oscar's Lion. Grixer's been dropped. Forrest is dead. But Oxygen winning in these engagements time and time again. Now in a 4v2 for OXG with still 2 minutes left.
Yeah, really nice retreat there from Yaga to get back towards the bomb site. Now Adam in a strong position as well. This rush has been silenced. It's nice to get one back, but they've got to do a lot more work, Parker. All their positions are still known in mining.
And he should have seen Flexi, but I just suspect he probably plays a different res, and Flexi would not have appeared from that angle. Flexi and Groovy now still upright again. If there are 2 players that you want for Heretics to have in a 2vx, these have got to be them. Yokai drones getting into position. If Grixer can stay alive for the remaining 1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock, you know how damaging those drones can be. Not from a knock you off the plant perspective, but from an intel perspective. 3 Yokai drones could still be up for this OXG squad, and boy, oh boy, they can give so much intel to the remaining defenders.
Yeah, what's your win con right now for Heretics? The information is fully to your opponents. The time is on your side, I suppose, but there's no way you get a plant down with this Yokai staring you down. They're hoping OXG overstep and make a mistake, but Oxygen are not giving them that right now.
Flexi will cover as Groovy had attempted the plant, but he bails off because of the Yokai drones. Yaga almost taking the bait here. The comically long AR of Zofia pops out through the doorway, but good patience from Yaga might be rewarded. They read these remaining defenders like a book, and now they've moonwalked their way into the adjoining part of this bomb site. It's all up to Gomez to clutch this one out. The advantage for OXG going up in smoke. No nitro cell to be had. Gomez taking engagements. Flexi gets the job done. Flexi has been terrific so far today. And with it, Heretics will tie the game.
Don't fucking ego us, bots!
Let him know.
How you playing? Guys, fucking win con!
Oh my God, Groovy and
Fucking go, boys.
Flexi. A ridiculous 2v3, Parker. No universe that should still happen. I mean, they're still typing in chat, Echo, what are you doing? They bait that plant. They use their time so well in the 2v3. They're just begging Oxygen to make a mistake. They're waiting all that time for OXG to do something, to overswing, to give themselves an opportunity. And Heretics, that patience pays off for them. Flexi and Groovy lock down that site. They have control of it the whole time. They're so worried about planting because of the yokai drone, and they should have been worried about planting. I mean, it wasn't really a good win con for them, but they threatened it just enough that Oxygen felt pressured, felt like they had to do something. They started moving, they started getting nervous, and they started making mistakes. Heretics found the one and only win con in that round and exploited it to their own benefit.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I believe is what he was saying.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go translate that into wingdings because that is clearly not decipherable for most English speakers. And of course, they were yelling bot. They were yelling a whole bunch of things. Team Heretics comms in English.
Yeah.
Even though they are a mixed European squad.
Yeah, I mean, what, 3 Brits, 1
Brits, one
Polish and a Portuguese.
I was going to say. I realized I've never said like Portuguese like that, and I second guess myself.
A Portuguese.
Well, it's like if you're from Britain, you're a Brit. If
Yeah.
you're from Poland, you're a Pole or you're Polish.
Yeah.
But if you're from Portugal, or I guess they just say you are Portuguese. But
Yeah.
would you say a Portuguese? No, I don't think so. Somebody correct me. This might shock you, but I don't interact with a lot of people from Portugal these days.
Wow, you're going to have to if Heretics keep on with this run, Parker. They've looked very good so far. Flexi making himself known throughout that round, and of course in the post round too, getting very vocal with the enemy team.
A reminder of the stakes of this matchup. Loser goes home. Today is the day of doom. We will be sending 8 teams back to their respective regions as we cut the amount of teams at SI in half. For those of you that watched this stream prior to this matchup, you saw D plus Kia, the Brazilian team playing out of APAC, go up against Daystar, and Daystar unfortunately lost. They are the first team to go home today, but they're in good company. In that Shopify Rebellion Ninjas in Pajamas game, spoilers inbound, the North Americans stay alive. Ninjas in Pajamas, the second team to go home. A thrilling third map. SR will be in action later today, as will the winner of this affair. They will be playing Fluxo W7M here on this stream.
Well, their first rush copied the reading rush from Oxygen. Their second play copied the mining rush from Oxygen. And now this looks like a copy of that Sens fuse strat that OXG ran on the one time they attacked the bottom floor. Now, there is no fuse, but they've still got full top floor control. They're working the vert now with the buck and the sledge, and they're going to try to use these Sens walls from Flexi to open up a position for the shield player to plant. It's a blitz, not a fuse, but otherwise looking very similar to what we saw from OXG previously. As I say that, they start to pivot over towards Bakery. So unlike the Freezer finish, they're going to go Bakery and lose the opening pick because of it.
Not ideal for this Heretics team that were able to find another gear on that previous round. This could be a 5-3 scoreline, but a great clutch out from Heretics has kept this as close as it can be. This round, things maybe look a little bit dire. Skeptic on very limited HP, holding that defuse kit. Oscar and Groovy now will have to rotate around the bomb site with limited time. Adam is prepped and ready for that one, and he walks right into the waiting arms of the Goyo. Groovy on full HP now, suffering quite a beating from Adam yet again. Adam has had these multi-kill rounds in pocket. Skeptic is outside the building with 5 seconds left. I don't even think he's going to dare give them a duel. They'll try to get it, and Gomez will actually get the job done yet again with a nanosecond left. OXG will regain the lead.
Nice flawless coming out from Oxygen. Good answer back after the previous round ended in disaster for them. They will regain 5-4 now here with the advantage on Cafe. Still no tack time on it's being taken, and you got to think, what is the point of the Sens at that point if you're not going to go for that vert drop? We have seen it sometimes being thrown out through the whiskey window and through restaurant and trying to make a push over on that side of the map, but I didn't see the Sens having a huge impact in that actual execute. It kind of just got shut down too early, I suppose, with Gomez getting aggressive with that Nitrocell, Grixer an early pick as well, Adam finding some frags in the midst of it. It felt like they were very prepared for what Heretics wanted to do on that conversion through Bakery, hoping perhaps that more of OXG players would be focusing on the freezer side, focusing over towards VIP, but Oxygen were ready for that switch up, and so that push in through Bake doesn't go the way that Heretics were hoping for. If they want this done in regulation, Parker, they will need all 3 of the next rounds on their own map pick.
Yeah, and this one's going to be really quite tough. Again, you're running uphill on this map. As good as Heretics have been, they have struggled to open up these rounds since the side swap came in. Flexi was sensational in that first half. You got to see the Nitro Cell tossed out by Gomez there. That was a beautiful throw. Flexi responsible for 4 of the 6 first wins in each round, winning, of course, in your engagement, not the actual round itself. Gomez and Grixer were on the board for OXG. Since the side swap, OXG have passed around who gets to draw first blood. Adam, Yaga, and Gomez. That leaves Grixer and Forrest as the only 2 players this half to not strike first. Grixer did it in the first half. You are constantly running uphill as attackers on Cafe, and if you are doing so in a perpetual 4v5, which seems to be the case with Heretics, your job only gets harder. Keep in mind, while Heretics, Jesse, are down in the lower bracket, they've made a pretty decent run so far. They've staved off defeat up to this point. So there's something to be said about, losing the first map and then still going on to win the series, but the competition is only going to get tougher. You might be able to do that in Phase 1 against weaker teams, but the better teams, the deeper you go into this lower bracket, are going to take first map, and then are going to take map 2, and that's curtains for Heretics.
Auction had their Mira band out coming in through this round, and so Yaga has to change up his operator, but so has basically everyone on OXG. They're playing this really reserved. They've got a lot of players over inside of Reading and just above inside a Cocktail. They don't really have pressure over on the piano side, inside Cigar, or inside a Pixel. They are very condensed on this map, just over towards the east. We'll get a great top-down POV. Look at all those orange bodies on the right side of your screen. Gomez going for a bit of a walk. He's in train right now, likely trying to play around with a Nitro Cell to try to catch someone inside piano. They might have some intel on that too, especially if they can get a Valkyrie cam inside a piano. I'm not sure if one was placed, but it's a good bet. There will be one there to feed the info.
Jesse, remind me.
Uh-huh.
Did Gomez not die to a very similar kill hole right here, and now he's doing the inverse? Almost as if he was like, oh, that's a good one. And then just lifted it and is now employing it himself. Yeah. Obviously, different part of the map.
Yeah, DMR through the hatch, but the Nitro Cell is same idea.
Different part.
For
but
sure.
Same. You could shoot up?
Well, I don't think he'll be shooting.
He's not a pig. Pigs notoriously cannot look up. He's a human being, and he can see what's above him. Grixer gets down as Groovy goes on in. Skeptic first to die. Why is the sledge of Skeptic in the line of fire so early on? Grixer will continue to bleed out as Yaga does get taken care of. Yaga and Adam top fragging on this team. There goes Forrest, and the guns are alive on the side of Heretics as they sweep through this top floor with OXG not able to muster much in response.
Yeah, perfect clear of the top floor. They timed that expertly. Oxygen not expecting it to come through maybe at that exact moment. A little bit of pressure in the mid floor too, drawing that attention away. So now it's a 3v4. They did get Grixer up despite being the first one downed in this round. He's back in action and ripping that Nitro Cell just like he was hoping to earlier on.
Now you're in the office and Gomez uses his Nitro Cell. Adam dies to Flexi. Heretics can continue to trade. Flexi has been so good. A dozen kills for him. The new IGL of OXG, the Yog Dog himself. Kept in a cage by this Heretics team, and they will tie things up again.
It's never fucking over until it's fucking over. Fucking recenter, okay? Let's work these rounds, okay? Well fucking done. Take our time. Take our fucking time. The smoke jumped up Cocktail, they lost the round. They lost top first, okay? Force them into making these plays that they think are good, but we actually allows us to roll over, okay? Take our time, let's work solutions.
Flexi, the 23-year-old Parker, has really risen to be a leader on this Heretics team. He's not the captain, he's not the IGL, but he's done a lot of their interviews. He's been a very forward-facing player, and I think he did a great conversation with Milos back in the group stage where he talked about how good his team was. He talked about how sometimes while they are slow starters, they do a really good job of reading their opponents, understanding what it is their opponents like to do, and adapting to it towards the mid-round. And after he gave all this praise to his team, after he did all that, he looked around him and he said a quote that really stuck with me. He said, "We know who we are. We know we're not the best team here, but we also know what we're capable of." And I think that is exactly what he's been telling the team. That's exactly the mindset Heretics have brought to this Six Invitational. Nobody's doubting they are the underdogs. Nobody thinks this team is going to go ahead and lift the hammer, but they still know what their strengths are. They still know they're a very capable team, and if they continue to play with that confidence, they could start earning results against teams that nobody really thought they'd be able to take down.
I mean, the fact that a T2 team even made it here is deserving of a lot of praise, right? There is always, when you have LCQs, an opportunity for a team that isn't in the T1 circuit to make it. Upsets happen, surprises happen. I mean, this Project Zero team was an intriguing one to watch. We actually got to see them front row at that Spoit Contender Series where they were able to get some LAN experience, and I honestly think that it has helped them quite a bit, even if they did make a roster move, bringing Oscar onto the team. But Oscar, of course, having T1 experience, not the end of the world.
They also went to Malta right after that.
That is true. They competed at Malta at that EML Finals, just as we had T2 teams competing in Philadelphia at the NA League Finals.
Yeah.
So it's good experience for a team, and you do have former pros on Heretics. So it's not like this is just a bunch of bums that, got picked up off the street and said, we like Rainbow Six. That's not how it works. These are actual professionals.
Yeah.
But it is safe to say that in terms of experience, OXG has their numbered, has them beat. But sometimes experience is not a suitable replacement for skill and preparation, and Heretics on their own map are showing that it's OXG whose skill and preparation is equally matching this European squad.
Flexy's got the number of Forest, and he gives him a call just to see what he's up to. Walking around those white stairs, but it doesn't end up being an aggressive play from the Dokkaebi, so just going to continue to lurk down on that bottom floor. Another logic bomb is going to come through. A lot of his teammates now are kind of taking that top floor, starting to work around with this vert that they might have as well. Already Oxygen prepping that freezer hatch, hoping to go for a late drop down to deny this plant with a nitro cell. Lots of information, and an opening pick from Gomez will make sure that this bottom floor is securely in the hands of Oxygen.
Not just any opening pick, Jesse, that's Flexy down. Flexy has been striking first on this team so frequently. He's been rising to the occasion of dealing with the aggression from OXG. Now there's a lot more weight on the shoulders of these Heretics players as their top fragger is gone.
And I'm not sure if Oxygen are realizing that Groovy is trying to retake this bottom floor as well. They will know now. He takes a gunfight, but unfortunately not able to find the head he was looking for. So many bodies, but it's the Nitro that takes him down. At the same time, plant's happening, but denied by the C4.
Another Nitro cell. Why put yourself in harm's way when you have explosives that can get the job done? OXG with a flawless round already in pocket will be denied at this time. Skeptic gets a single exit frag. It's impactless, and OXG move to map point on their opponent's map. Team Heretics once again looking like they'll drop the first map in the series.
We talk about how good Heretics have been at reading their opponents, but Oxygen deserve just as much credit in this round, doing a great job of understanding the Heretics want to go down, take below, stop some of that C4 play, stop the Pulse, stop the Valkyrie, stop the Nitros from being so much of a threat as they have been throughout this series. But Oxygen, they flood the bottom floor with bodies. They make sure they have full control down there before they go to deny that plant, before they try to get anything else done. Fine to concede the top floor because bottom floor was really where everything was happening inside the kitchen. OXG are ready for it. The Pulse feeds that information.
Smoke Warden again.
A little bit of conversation with the admin. We are in the round, but it may be recalled if there's some issues. And we will get a rehost.
I wonder if it's an issue with Groovy's setup. Jesse, have I just been asleep at the wheel here, or has there been no timeout called yet?
There's still no tactical timeout. This will be our first technical timeout.
Actually, it says technical pause.
Okay. I feel those terms are interchangeable.
I feel like you feel that, but I feel like the viewers don't.
I like
and it
the
behooves you to
alliteration.
read the things that are on the screen. See, look, there's this beautiful blowing piece of fabric over top of it with two hammers, obviously hearkening back to our communist roots here on this stream, showing that we're doing some work.
Yeah. Listen, they're hammering out the issues, Parker. They're getting the job done. They're getting down to it. Looks like there might also be some issues for Forrest, but gives the game
His
a little
monitor
bit of
hasn't been on this whole time.
Okay.
He finally decided to turn it off.
Come on now. Forrest had some very good plays, I think, even to start this series.
That was a compliment. He's doing well. He's going even with no monitor.
You're right. Okay. Fair enough, Parker.
Forrest didn't just put the word, I'm not going to say Slayer, but Forrest put Slayer at the end for good reason. The man has no monitor, and he's still fragging out.
Yeah, I was having a great start to this series. I really liked his blitz play coming through in these first couple of rounds. Rounds 1 and 2 in particular, felt like he was the real impact player, getting the plant down twice in the first 2 rounds. Since round 3, though, we actually haven't seen any of these plants go down. It was a couple of early rushes from Oxygen, then they got adapted to. Heretics were able to change up their defensive style, were able to catch Oxygen off guard a little bit better.
They won't even broadcast it.
Oh, we're broadcasting it, Grixer.
They'll just be like, oh, here's some.
And in the meantime, some of the second half, I mean, we just haven't seen Heretics find as much success with the diffuser. They've had some cool attacks, they've had some cool ideas, but Oxygen really have kept the mental up, and they've been able to lock down most of these sites.
Technically, they're not supposed to be talking to each other, but I'm not a narc.
I mean, the rule is they can't, like, discuss strategy about the game.
Mods, they're talking.
They're fine to talk, of course, just can't discuss the game as much, is my understanding of the rules.
Over on the A stream, if you want to mosey over there while we're in this tech pause, but then come on back because we don't want you to leave. Or if you want to run both at the same time, there is another elimination game. Every matchup you watch today will have one team go home and one team move on. Stakes have never been higher for these squads at this event. M80, the defending major champions, are currently squaring off against G2. Fabian versus his old team. Both squads, G2 and M80, have shown very obvious issues so far throughout this tournament. Consistency problems on the side of G2. A set of fear seemingly getting into the hearts of these M80 players. Both squads have not quite looked like themselves. We'll lose one of them. This is the worst part of SI, Jesse.
Yeah.
Good teams, fan favorites, big characters. They'll be going home today, tomorrow, and onwards. If you were flying into Paris to watch the Six Invitational and you were hoping to see both G2 and M80, well, bad luck. You're going to have to do it from the comfort of your own home or wherever you may be. That's over on the A stream, and we should now be back in action.
We thank you for your patience.
I did not.
But it's time
I did not say thank you.
to load into round 12, Parker. This is going to be the round that determines, will we see overtime if Heretics can clutch up for this final attack, or are Auction going to steal the map pick away from the Europeans? This is going to be an oh-so-critical round. We fully expect the bomb site to be kitchen cooking and service. That's what it was prior to the rehost, and given that they won it 3 rounds ago and it's going to be unlocked, that would be expected. That is indeed what we see coming through from OXG. They're allowed to change up the site and operators if they wish, and they're going to use that as an opportunity to bring out the clash. Of course, not brought prior to the rehost. Now Force is going to bring it out, and he's just hiding in sinks, Parker. He does not want to get droned on this operator. And a lot of pressure now goes over to the Heretics captain of Skeptic to try to make a game plan. When they attacked this bomb site last time, they went full top down, they ended Bakery, and they got flawlessly defeated, okay? It was the worst round Heretics have played since this match began. If Skeptic can call a new strategy, figure out what the weaknesses were in that previous hold, and not get caught off guard by this clash, it could make all the difference to allow Heretics to push into overtime.
Since round 6, these teams have traded wins back and forth, and yet, since round 7, the second half began, OXG has drawn blood before Heretics. Again, battling back is not ideal. Now, granted, round 10 was a trade, so you didn't really gain a ton from that particular round, but that still means 4 rounds have been OXG in the driver's seat. An improbable and very impressive clutch that came in earlier, if you recall, by Heretics kind of broke this trend line, and OXG could have been able to put this map away already, but the past is the past. You have to screw your head on correctly and prepare for this final round of regulation.
Skeptic has called for a very similar push, to be honest, Parker. They've got a lot of that soft destruction, the Buck and the Sledge coming back out to try to work these middle floorboards. They've also got the Sens, once again, to try to work their way through. So we'll see if they finish the same way, but they are starting identical to how they started back in round 9 it was. There's no roamers to deal with on the side of OXG, so Heretics can rest easy knowing that there's not going to be any pressure early on in this round. The freezer wall fully opened up, of course. They've got that player inside of VIP, hoping to deny anybody from dropping in through the hatch. That'll be the job of Yaga, who can simultaneously keep that hatch closed with his utility. And you're looking at the hard breach on the side of Heretics. It's not really, there's not a lot of it, Parker. Only 2 can openers being brought by Skeptics, so they've got to be very cautious that these don't get denied in any way. There's no Kaid, but even still, you're a little bit worried about what could happen if Skeptic goes down early.
Yeah, no, absolutely correct. Skeptic has died a bit early for his role as well, Jesse. It's something that we have talked about, so some cause for concern if Heretics lose that Sens. You need those ROU projectors to conceal your push. Typical setup now on this middle floor. Flexi striking first for Heretics. That's the first time in this second half that Heretics have got on the board first. And of course, It's Flexi to get the job done. Far and away the best player in the server for Heretics, and dare I say it, the best player in the server, period, here on Cafe.
Yeah, he gets that opening, and then the C4 misses as well. So the hatch will get opened up without any problems. It will be frozen out, it looks like, for a minute, but no, now it gets opened, and so this isn't going to be a problem for them. They were watching on that 2-brow. They've got to find some way to drop. Probably it'll be Skeptic on the sends to try to allow that to happen. They're popping Goyos, they're setting up the walls now, and they're hoping to find an angle to get this plant down with just over 30 seconds remaining.
Another Zoto canister will go out, once again freezing the action upstairs. You said it, very limited time remains for Heretics to pull this one off. Grixer on the roam! What is he doing as a smoke upstairs, but he shuts them down. Oscar and Groovy are in the ground. Good lord. That might have just broken the round open, and OXG are now poised to take their opponent's map. Skeptic has the cross. He'll huff in some of that gas. Now walking Diffuser down, time running out. Heretics watching as their own map slips away. They trickle into the bomb site, punished by OXG, and the flame is about to be snuffed. Gomez gets all 3 final kills, and OXG takes Heretics map.
Pablo Rebelli, Grixer with the most important flank of the entire map, Parker. He comes up when there's 30 seconds remaining. He downs the defuse kit. He gets 2 kills. He eventually gets traded out, but who cares? He did the job he needed to, understanding that it was a man advantage for Heretics, understanding something had to be done. And Grixer, the former player for Sonics and Shopify Rebellion, steps up for his new team, gets it done in round 12, and wins the map for Oxygen.
Jesse, I believe it was Benjamin Franklin who wrote, death, taxes, and Heretics losing map 1. The 3 things in life I am most certain of. I am kind of at a loss for words here. This Heretics team is so much better than their map 1 performances. There was a lack of coordination. There was a lack of confidence. They just seemed to use their roles inappropriately. And OXG are a team that are reflexive, but they are also very well prepared.
Yes.
You saw it time and time again. OXG knew what was going to happen, and they were ready for it. They said, it doesn't matter what side of this map we're on. It doesn't even matter if it's your map. We will beat you. They take the map, and they are now poised to take this series 2-0. Of course, that is incumbent upon them winning their own map next.
Yeah, of course, Oxygen, they're in the driver's seat, though. They have the next map coming up, of course, in their favor. Clubhouse will be a scary map for them. Yaga actually top scoring the lobby for OXG. It was a real team effort, I would say, Parker. I think even Forrest sitting down there in 5th started the game really strong. Some critical plants that don't get shown on this scoreboard, but were very important for helping Oxygen win the round. For Heretics, a little bit less even. You got 3 players down there on 5 kills, Upor on 6, and Flexi rising high above the rest.
And when we loaded into this series, we said it was top-heavy for Heretics. Everybody at OXG was kind of consistently bad in the middle. And would you look at the EPS? Flexi, number 1. Every player on OXG next,
yes.
And then the bottom 4 of Heretics. So everything kind of falling into a similar pattern here. Obviously, that doesn't work out very well for Heretics. On your bounce-back map, you are going to go to your opponent's pick. More than Flexi needs to show up. And Flexi did so much of that on his own. He droned himself in. He made space for himself. It was an exceptional play from the Portuguese player. But again, the depth from Heretics was a huge issue. They are going to need to be more consistent and, frankly, more successful, or this will be a 2-0 for the North Americans, and Heretics will be boarding a plane home.
I think Ruby's a big player we got to look at to step up, Parker. He was the second best player on that team heading in through the group stage, even including their first matchup in the upper bracket. So if Groovy can really be that player to step up, he has been in the past. He's got so much pro league experience. That could be the difference maker going into map 2.
And map 2 is Clubhouse. It'll be ready in just a couple minutes for you. Go on over to the A stream to watch M80 and G2 while we're on a break, or stay here and we'll see you when we're back. Well, in keeping with tradition, Team Heretics starts their best of 3, needing a reverse sweep to succeed. On your screen, the upstart T2 squad that has come, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but surprising a lot of viewers, maybe the more casual viewers, not playing at a tier 1 level. They are a good team, but they are now facing elimination. We will be saying goodbye to so many teams today, and it might come at the hands of OXG on OXG's map.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Parker, and that's, I think, why things get so much more difficult for Team Heretics. They're coming to Clubhouse, and this is a map they've played 3 times so far through the Six Invitational here in Paris. Their best result was losing 7-3, okay? They have really struggled on Clubhouse. They lost it to FearX, they lost it to Weibo, they lost it to Furia. No shade to some of those teams, but some of them have not been putting up the best performances recently, right? So Heretics really need to be able to step up their game on Club. Credit to Auction, it's not really their best map either. They have an 0-3 record since the start of Stage 2, but you have to imagine they've been working on it behind the scenes. Obviously, they haven't played it here at the Six Invitational, so they've been probably putting in a ton of work that they haven't gotten to show off yet. Here against Heretics, with the life on the line in terms of the series, this is kind of the best time to bring it out and try to win it over your EU rivals.
It's funny because coming in, OXG were the statistical weaker team, and yet, again, there's a reason why we don't play these matchups on paper. Is it a 2-0 for the North Americans? The community doubted them. You still doubt them. You give the edge to Team Heretics, but it's OXG up 1-0, and they're going to their choice, and a map that Heretics has not been particularly good on. Is this the end of the road for the T2 squad? Let's find out.
Grexer made a hero play to save round 12 on Cafe Dostoyevsky, flanking up the brown stairs on smoke, getting 2 critical kills, stalling out Heretics and stopping them from being able to win that round. Heretics need to be able to shut down plays like that. They cannot have gaps in their attacks if they want to find success on Clubhouse. Just like on the other 2 maps in this series, they will start on the defensive side, and on Clubhouse, that tends to be an advantage. They lose their Mira, they lose their Kaid, so a couple of options to keep the walls closed taken off the board. They will still have Bandit if they want it. For their part, they removed the Thermite and the Ying. We saw just how deadly Oxygen can be with some of those rushes with the blinds. They didn't really rely on Ying as much. It was more so the Blitz that they were trying to use to get in quickly. But on Clubhouse, the Ying can be oh so devastating, especially when trying to clear through that top floor.
Is the Munich Major Bundle still available, by the way? Because I actually wanted to grab it. I love wiener dogs.
Do you?
Yeah, and I just know somebody is going to clip what I just said and cut it off at a very inappropriate time. So don't do that. I know one of you idiots is going to do that out there. Don't do that to me. I love wiener dogs. I think they're excellent dogs. And to see that the Dachshund, or Dachshund, as they are, I have been told are called in Germany, is on a drone. I think it's very cute. I've actually always rocked the standard drone skin because I find it's one of the harder skins to see in the game.
Yeah.
And look, Jesse,
you need that competitive edge in gold, don't you? Make sure your drones don't get spotted out.
I was just about to dunk on myself, but you beat me to it. Not just denying me the ability to dunk on myself, but humiliating me in front of the dozens and dozens of people watching this broadcast.
Listen, I'm sure there's plenty of people here ready to root for Heretics and OXG
and make fun of me in the process.
And they're probably also in gold, Parker, so everybody can enjoy the drone skins. It is Upor to strike first, takes down the Blackbeard of Yaga, but he falls in return. Adam getting a good trade. This is not a dedicated rush, although there are still some extended players from Heretics who are happy to take those early fights.
Quite an extension at the point in time from Heretics. One up in weight room. You saw Gruby was playing inside a kitchen with the Kiba barriers there for protection. But now that they've lost Upor, you need to get back to the bomb site, maybe be a little bit safer. The top floor should be conceded at this point. As Flexi has fallen off from weight room and is now by the breach that was opened up by Gomez at the start of this round. Flexi was the best player in the server on map number 1. If Heretics is to have a fighting chance on their opponent's map, Flexi will need to go as big as he did, if not even bigger, because the supporting cast for Heretics was not, unfortunately, able to compete with OXG on map 1.
Gomez is busy playing on his phone, but Flexi is waiting for him the second that he gets off of it. He's got the castle barricade to keep him safe inside a bathroom, and that's going to really allow him to play here with a lot of favor. They don't seem to know in his current position where he's at. He moves over towards bar for just a moment. They've got a Valkyrie camera inside of stock, which is feeding him some information. Now hiding behind the bar, he's hoping for a bigger fish than just Gomez. It's possible if he plays his cards right, he could get a multi-kill from this spot.
Flexi, what a flick over to Gomez. I would be mighty miffed down in gold if that happened to me, Jesse. 1 minute to go, and now an advantage for Heretics. Flexi has still not been taken out on this main floor. This extension with the Azamis in play. Castle barricade there as well. They're not expecting him over on lounge. I'm a bit surprised that Grixer wasn't prepped and ready for it. Grixer, a great aimer in his own right. Not a lot of bullets left for the Roni. A greatly timed flashbang. He doesn't even need to see. Take his glasses, take his monitor. Flexi will frag even when he's flashed. Running into Adam as the cavalry has been called from Oxygen. They'll be able to retrieve Pablo, but at what cost?
Yeah, 30 seconds left, Parker. They don't have time to execute it anymore. Get Grixer up as soon as you can and try to send it towards the bomb site, but this should be read by Heretics. Kitchen hatch is open, and this will be the play.
The scramble in now is a full extension from Forrest. Will buy him some time. A great lineup from these remaining Heretics players inside of this bomb site. Adam looking to hold them at bay. Forrest attempting the plant. Has to get off his position. Down goes Groovy. Adam with 3 kills so far.
Wow.
Excuse me. A 4K from Adam. A major sell from Heretics. And OXG wins a head-scratching first round.
He just hit somewhere. Honestly, though, next time they do a classic, let's bring a Dokkaebi.
Adam looking so good in that round, Parker. I mean, they didn't have the time to pull that off. There's no universe where that should be a successful round after what we saw from Flexi playing on that Mozzie just inside of the bar position. Completely misdroned. A really big mistake coming up from Oxygen that could have cost them the entire round, but it doesn't matter when Adam steps up for 4. They rush it through the kitchen hatch. They have just seconds to make a plan and make the execute, and then the Heretics, I thought they'd be more ready for it. They didn't seem to have any way to deny that plant with the Monty getting that defuse kit down. Really nice flick from Flexi here, as you called it, Parker. Straight to the head of the Ash. Caught trying to get back towards the site, and then it's just the perfect position from Adam. He's not the guy on the hatch. He's down there in the bottom floor, in the midst of it, having fun, finding the heads of Heretics. You couldn't ask for a better start if you're Adam.
5 seconds remaining. Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
The best performing player on OXG in the very first map, now surpassing Flexi as the best rated player in this series. Adam has been mighty good in the NA League, but he did kind of shrink under the bright lights. This was a point of contention, I'm sure, for OXG, and when you do get into the playoffs, aka the bright lights, when you start playing consistently against the other best teams in your region, aka the bright lights, when you get to SI, the brightest lights of them all in the city of light, Jesse, you need to be able to grow, not shrink. If Adam can stand tall against great gunners, Oxygen's chances soar. And the fact that he entered this series with a -8 KD and not top on the team shows that there is still room to grow for him. A terrific first round to pick up 4 kills, steal what seemed like a surefire victory away from Heretics, and now you are 6 rounds away from taking your map and moving on to face Fluxo W7M later today, knocking Heretics out of the event.
Oxygen have been to 4 invitationals prior to this one, and they have never finished outside of the top 8. They are a long ways away from it still at this point, but they're starting to make a run. Upor, the first one to go down now for Team Heretics. The wall breaching has been going well for Oxygen as well. The Clash does some damage, Parker, but takes a lot in return.
And Flexi's just swinging for the fences at this point in time. He's done some serious damage. Now it's Oscar here for the assist. He immediately gets droned out and thinks better of an engagement. Adam was dropped in that altercation. He will be picked back up as OXG are still right now on the borderline of getting into this top floor. Gomez in a very strong position now, trying to watch the cross between Logi and the bomb site. Goyo of Skeptic will be the one to engage, not with the Vector, but the TCSG in hand, so single shots that can do a mighty bit of damage. And a walloping from Heretics is very much possible. OXG, though, in the driver's seat with a minute to go.
Gruby's going on a little adventure. There's not much to find out here, Parker. Nobody's on the site windows. Yaga thinking maybe he'll take that position up just now, but I think he's looking more so to punish an aggressive play from Gruby.
And Skeptic gets down. That was Gomez looking for the kill. He will secure it. Oscar, the only one on the board so far. That'll be all she wrote. Oxygen using that very first round to motivate themselves, propelling themselves to a 2-0 lead.
We did not see attack timeout from DMC in the first map, despite the 7-5 loss to come through. That's Kizzy gracing your headphones as he yells across to the European squad across the table. Very much getting the energy up. And again, no tack timeout from DMC so far, down 2-0 on their opponent's picks, starting on the stronger side of defense. Oxygen, a very direct to site hit. You know, they didn't worry about clearing through cash. They didn't worry about the east side of the map. They just said, screw it. We know that there's going to be a clash on this side, but he's going to over-peak us. He's going to make some mistakes, and we can just win that duel against him on the Jacuzzi breach. It was maybe over-aggressive to come through with that Clash player. Obviously, we got to see Flexi doing his best behind that shield, but he just went down so early in that round, Parker, and put his team into a massive man count disadvantage. You got to wonder maybe if they were able to spread it a little bit more, use some more of those positions, stay alive a little bit longer. Does that defense go a little bit better for them? We'll have to wait until probably round 5 to try it again.
Attackers are moving to
A reminder for everybody here, we will continue to tell you the stakes and the consequences of these games. I don't know if my timing is just off or if there was a lengthy tech pause over on the A stream, but they are still in map 1 of G2 versus M80. Yep. They were underway when we were midway in our own first map. So again, I'm curious as to whether or not I'm just very poor with my internal clock. That is entirely possible. I will admit that sometimes I do let time get ahead of me. I'll blink and all of a sudden, there'll be 20 seconds left in a round, so I get it. One of those teams will go home. Will it be the defending major champs, or will it be the former SI winners in G2? Head on over to that A stream to watch it, or simply watch it back. Here, though, Heretics and OXG, with OXG up 1-0, and at this point in time, OXG looking mighty good on their own map, attacking on Clubhouse, and they've struck first on this third round.
That's got to be a frustrating death from Gruby, yet to get on the board on Clubhouse, trying to play down below with the safety of those castle barricades, but shut down by Yaga. Now you see more aggression coming out from the Heretics players, feeling like they're in a disadvantage and that they need to make something big happen quickly. Garage Control still firmly under their pressure, but do Oxygen really care? With this Sens wall, they could completely block off Rafters and not even go for the clear with it. It would be a bit of a direct push. It would be very minimal, but they've already got the breach open. With Sens in their pockets, they have a lot of options as what they want to do here. And Parker, I don't think they care about Rafters at all.
No, they're going to run right in. Look at that pathway, the runway, lighting the way over towards the Azami. Usually you take Rafters in the other direction. A rotate from Skeptic gets caught by Adam. OXG continuing their winning ways, looking for a 3-0 start on this map. Down goes Oscar, Flexi last man standing, but he gets overwhelmed. OXG win that one flawlessly. Is that their third, their fourth flawless round in this series? Dire straits for this Team Heretics squad. Oxygen off to an incredible and frankly unbelievable start.
And it reminds me of Cafe, Parker. I mean, it's been so clean. The ideas that Oxygen are running with, they know exactly what they want to do on each of these bomb sites. They've got really cool strats prepped for it. They're minimal. They're kind of rush focused. They're being used by the Blitz and the Sens and all that they need just to get in without very much map control. DMC choosing his tack timeout now.
So let's prioritize the power possession. Because while we were away, and make them push that rest of the fight, right? That's why I did. I'll give you the rest of the tape.
I mean, then in that case, we should just go basement and we should just do some sort of bunker for our fullback. You know, like don't give them that option. Like start above, shoot down, full back, maybe put a mute on multi above, so they'll take it instantly. I'll take smoke and dirt. We just take shit for sight. You know? Like just take your mind, take the board and shit like that. They've got packet to give them as well.
Yeah, let's get
I'm looking smoke there.
David McPherson, head coach of Heretics. He actually has spent most of his career in Tier 2 North America, coaching teams like Space Tubes and Space Station Academy. So he might have a little bit better of a read on some of these NA teams who they likely were scrimming quite a bit over through last year than some of the other coaches from these European teams. But regardless, he's got to find some way to adapt to OXG's fast-paced style of game. It feels like they need to do something to disrupt them early. Even though they lost round 1, Parker, they were able to force a mistake on Oxygen, having that miss drone, and then taking advantage of that by going in for some of those kills, disrupting the push before they could go for plan A. They have to do more of that. Both in rounds 2 and 3, Oxygen got exactly the push they were looking for. They didn't need map control. They just set it up, went for it, and it worked. Heretics have to throw more wrenches into the plans of Oxygen before things get going, and that's what I'm going to be looking for through the second quarter of this game.
Attackers are moving out to locate a
It's
bomb.
been a while since you referenced the quarter bit. I like it. I'm a fan.
It's not a bid. I've said it all tournament.
I haven't heard it in a while.
You don't listen to me.
What?
You don't listen to me.
Once more?
Okay, I understand what's going on now. You think you're so funny.
This is like the audio version of like, man, this would really hurt my feelings if I could read. If I could hear you, I know I'd be mighty, mighty miffed. You could tell from that timeout that there is more than just a strategic dearth affecting this team, right? They were very clearly demotivated. Skeptic did not seem very happy. Vibes on the team are not rock bottom, because there is still hope, but pretty close to. They get a bit of a lift up from motivating, maybe. Heretics with the very first kill. Uper on the run now, and Adam, of all the players to shut down, is a good one. 4K in the first round broke this map open, and now he will ride the pine for the next 2 minutes.
Upor playing at the top of the secret stairs, able to find Adam. That's the send. So what did I ask for right after that attack timeout, Parker? I asked for them to disrupt Oxygen's game plan before they were able to get set up, and that's exactly what they've been able to do. With Upor killing the sends, all of a sudden, I mean, A, they cleared the guy that got a 4K on this bomb site previously, but B, they clear probably the most important execute operator to come through. Often you'll see sends go through the kitchen hatch, go through the moto hatch, block off certain angles, and even make it a bit of a bait as to where the plant is going down. Now Oxygen have to try to make this work without that extra bit of deception, without that extra bit of site denial. So how are they going to make this push come together? Well, they've already got the kitchen hatch kind of worked on. They've got, of course, secret control where Gomez is right now. So the question becomes, where do they put their players? Where do they put their pieces before going for this execute?
It was a great read from Yaga, as you saw. He was tearing things up to see if the default plant spot, where sometimes you will find a defender ratting in the corner. If you want to open up a church wall to get a takedown there, you need that part of the map free and clear. OXG are trying their best to clean that out as they can. They might have called an audible here, though, as they're now searching for answers on this kitchen hatch. The Buck catching the Warden. Goodbye to Flexi. He's having a devastatingly bad second map, way below his own expectations, and if Flexi goes, I do worry that Heretics will go as well. Upor attempting to retake on that mid floor, gets punished, 30 seconds left, and Oxygen, after losing Adam early, now find themselves in a very advantageous spot. Oscar needs to be worried about Moto, and he second guesses himself. It allows Yaga to run down the corridor, shooting away as best he can. Forrest getting diffuser down, Yaga and Grixter to cover. Gomez has died. This is a great lockout from Oxygen, and Skeptic will now need to emerge from church. Maybe say a prayer or two. They will go unanswered. Yaga gives the 4th round to OXG. Oxygen undefeated on their map.
And kind of a frustrating round, Parker. I mean, in the midst of that, it feels like Heretics have the advantage. They've got the one-man lead. They're playing on that bottom floor. It's a defender-sided site. They're in a strong position to win that round, and then it's silly death after silly death after silly death. It starts with Flexi. He's down under the floorboards. He gets ripped up by the Buck and then caught on an angle from just above him. I mean, clearly on that Warden, finding some struggles in the midst of that. I think was even running the OXG Warden skin. So you could argue double agent. I'm not going to say it, but listen, still an unfortunate first death to come through from Flexi in that previous round. Then right after that, Upor, who got that beautiful opening over on Secret Stairs, pushes back up the staircase and gets hard punished by Auction, who are watching the angle. And then last but not least, Oscar's just standing in the middle of the hallway just outside of church. I get he's in a disadvantage. He's trying to play aggressive. He's trying to play unpredictable to work a pick for his team, but it's just too readable. This is that opening pick from Flexi. That's definitely the Oxygen Warden skin. He does get taken down there. Really
Thanks for your money,
unfortunate.
yoink.
So they've got to find some way to stop this momentum. Auction are already halfway done this map, and we're in round 5.
Over halfway done this map. Numbers,
Yes.
boy. They need to get 7, and they have 4. This is excellent for them on their own map. It has been a dreadful day for everybody on Heretics not named Flexi, and unfortunately, Flexi is now having a very bad second map.
Yeah.
The roams are unsupported. They look rudderless through the mid-rounds. Heretics then get boxed in because OXG is clearing this map so effectively, so quickly, and they are winning their engagements. Forrest and Grixer have yet to die. We are almost 15 minutes, if not longer, when you consider all the other things into this map, and they have not died.
15 minutes in, Force has been in one gunfight. He's gotten a single kill, and that is it. Been busy planting and playing shields, of course, but I mean, that just shows how little Heretics have put up for a fight. Here comes the Rush Parker once again with the Finka.
And I suspect if Heretics are to win a round, it'll be this one. Sometimes rushes are not greeted appropriately. Adam with 1 kill. Skeptic has traded it off as he struck first. Diffuser needs to go down, but Forrest does not have the all clear. Smoke was lingering in front of him. He gets to the halfway point. Do they know this is happening? Right under their noses, 4 of their players still alive. Heretics will now scramble to amass themselves in this post plant, stacked up with one another. Yaga holding this main floor. Groovy taking down the Yogg Dog. Now he'll have to head upstairs. Adam dies as well. This is bad for OXG. A great pushback from Groovy. Now it's Grixer to clutch, finding one. But it's just too much heavy lifting inside a weight room. Heretics will sweep through Groovy. An excellent post plant. Heretics will get on the board. Rushes are always a gamble, Jesse. I don't know if I like that decision by OXG, but I have the benefit of hindsight to say that.
I really like the idea of the push, and getting the plant down was beautiful. It was Adam who rushed into Jim. If you saw, he tossed a Capitao Firebolt straight towards the con door. That meant that Upor, Groovy, and Flexi basically were irrelevant in that execute because they were playing on the cash side of the map. They were all in con or CC or what have you over towards the east. They could not physically stop that plant if they wanted to, thanks to the Capitao Bolt. It was really, really smart from Adam. Unfortunately, the post-plant positioning was so much better for Heretics. They did a great job of reacting to it. They didn't waste their time, right? The danger with a post-plant on a bomb site like Gym and Bedroom is you can often get outside the building very quickly, and you can hold from really long angles that can cover the plant outside the building. Heretics reacted so quickly to that rush. They came back to site so fast after that Capitao Bolt wore off that they were able to stop Auction from getting back outside the building. Groovy going down below as well was critical because you knew somebody on Oxygen was going to try to play that position to get the plant denial or the disable denial, if you will, from down below. But he read into that. He managed to kill 3 players from that position after rotating back up the main stairs. Really fast reaction time coming out from Heretics, and it saves them from a 5-0 deficit.
Still a lot of time for Oxygen to put this map away. Every single one of the regularly played bomb sites on this map favor the defenders. Bar stage has been played a single time. It was won by the attackers. It was all the way back, and I think the second day of Phase 1, and that was it. I would be shocked if we see it appear yet again, but crazier things have happened. If there's a team that's going to go and try to defend Bar stage, it would be Oxygen up 5-1 or 6-1.
Yeah, I could see it. Something clicks in Forrest's brain, and he says, let's do it. Let's send it.
Poor Yaga having to IGL that.
Hopefully somebody at the OXG team gets the ability to say no if that call gets made, but I don't think we'll get there, Parker. Here's the opening from Flexi, trying to take a fight with Gomez, but he whiffs his shots. The Nitro, good for the follow-up, but only 90 damage. That doesn't get the kill either. Gomez in a tough spot, but he's managed to stay alive.
The Roni's got like 12 bullets and a Nitro cell. That's basically how it works. Once the bullets are gone, you have to use the Nitro cell, but you only get one opportunity. Gomez and Flexi almost trading each other out in this position. Flexi's patience now with a super shorty in hand, waiting for one of them to reaggress.
Thought he had nades.
No, this happens again, by the way. That bathroom castle barricade has not been working out very effectively for either of these teams. Oxygen demolishing Heretics at this point in time, leaving the EU squad with just 2 remaining. Upor trying to get back to the site with his life intact, but that is an impossible task. Skeptic now on the run, and I think his face says it all. He surrendered control, has a good lineup as he blows the wall open, but Grixer is there to save the day. The only round dropped by OXG in that first half comes with the risky rush strat. A 5-1 set of domination from the North Americans, and they are so strongly positioned to take this 2-0.
OXG looking unstoppable on their map pick of Clubhouse, Parker. They've been playing so well so far. Gomez typing, who's Mozzie? Certainly that engagement inside a bathroom, not really going the Europeans' ways, but Flexi, all you can do is laugh at this point. Down 5-1. Attending his first Six Invitational, of course, is one of the young players on Team Heretics. This whole squad had to battle against the LCQ to get here. They aren't a Tier 1 team. They only just got signed by this organization before the event, so played all of the last season, orgless, under the name Project Zero. I think a lot of people, including themselves, should be proud of them for getting here, for getting to the lower bracket, for managing to make it out of groups. But at this point, the experience might just be too much for them to battle against.
I mean, think of the EU teams that didn't make it to this event, that all bottomed out in the LCQ. Shifters, that former BDS squad that rebranded. You know them with P4, with Virtue, etc.
Yep.
They didn't make it. Virtus Pro didn't make it. The best team out of the Middle East, Twisted Minds, they didn't make it. Wild, of course, didn't make it. Mako didn't make it. There are so many good squads that failed on the way to get here. Only one was able to claim that LCQ spot, and it was a T2 team, the little engine that could. And I mean, Heretics still can, but you said it yourself. Their record on Clubhouse is dismal.
Yeah.
The fact that they started on their own map and lost map 1 as they've done all event means you have to go for the reverse sweep. And if you go on map 2 to a place where you consistently lose, things don't look very good. And I mean, you look at the score line, you don't need to be a genius to know that a 5-1 first half with now OXG going to the better side on their own map doesn't look good for this Team Heretics team.
Barring a miracle, Heretics are going to be 0-4 on Clubhouse at the Six Invitational, and 2 of those losses coming against APAC teams as well, so you certainly are hopeful for OXG that they can make that reality happen. They're going to be playing, of course, down in the bottom floor, but it's a very heavy extension up towards Rafters. It's Gomez playing that spot, but Forrest strikes first. He's over in Kitchen, so a different part of the map entirely where we find the opening pick. And Parker, of all the operators you could lose for a basement attack, Habana might just be the worst one.
That is a brutal loss. Skeptic is having a pretty good game.
Yago? Bruh.
I think it'll be a rehost.
Oh,
yes.
it's a rehost. Okay.
I was also really confused.
Oh, that was funny. Wanted his kill, though.
I mean, I was a little surprised at that one. Obviously, frustration will be here on the side of Team Heretics. For those wondering what is going on, the lay of the land on this stream earlier today, D plus Kia defeated Daystar, sending the APAC team home. That was 2 APAC teams doing battle, even if that D plus Kia squad is comprised of a majority of Brazilian players. The next match that will follow this one is Weibo versus D plus Kia. So an APAC team still looks to make a deep run through this lower bracket. Weibo having a bit of an off day yesterday against Furia, but hey, Furia's Furia.
Oh, yeah.
Is it an off day, or is it just a former world championship team finding their footing after some consistency issues over the last 2 events? We'll find out in that matchup. Weibo Gaming and D plus Kia coming up next. The loser of that game goes home. The winner will move on to a deeper lower bracket run. Over on the mainstream right now, M80 and G2 are doing battle. I have to suspect that match 1 is finished, or map 1 is finished. It was taking a long time to complete it. Defending major champions versus the former SI winners of G2. I'm sure that is an electric bout, and one that I'm a little envious that we're not casting. There are some matches where I look at it, I'm like, man, I'd like to do that, but we can't be 2 places at once.
No.
Team Secret awaits the victor of M80 G2. That matchup will also be played today. Team Secret having a bit of a frustrating game against Falcons yesterday. Earlier on the A stream, Shopify Rebellion and Ninjas in Pajamas collided, and the North American team of Shopify Rebellion lived to see at least one more series. NIP, the first Brazilian team to go home. Space Station Gaming gets to play Shopify Rebellion in the next matchup on Stream A. Troy versus his old team. Shopify Rebellion could have picked SSG, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Probably because they don't like that stylistic matchup. Well, guess what? Opportunities come a knocking, run from it, etc. It's still there. So SSG Shopify Rebellion will be very entertaining. And then, of course, the winner of this game, which right now looks like OXG, will go up against Fluxo W7M to close out our day on this stream.
Yeah, Oxygen looking very good to win this series so far. I mentioned it before, Parker, but they have never in the history of SI finished anything below 8th place at an invitational. They have to win out both games today if they want to repeat that success. That'll get them into the top 8, beating Heretics here, then beating Fluxo W7M in the late match on the B stream today. If they can win both of those games, then their road ahead still looks pretty difficult. They will play the winner of SSG Shopify Rebellion and then the loser of Furia Falcons in the lower bracket, marching upwards through the standings, trying to get into that top 4 and trying to get into the main stage position, which would be that match versus Furia or Falcons on the main stage.
Who would have thought Wildcard would be the best performing North American team? I mean, they did so at Reload. They did so at Munich. I mean, they weren't the best performing team at Munich, but that was obviously M80 from North America, but Wildcard made a top 4 run.
True.
This is a team that consistently surprises people and is, I think the phrase is better than the sum of its parts. Mm-hmm. Each individual player on their own is very good, but together they are excellent. Wildcard going up against FaZe Clan will be one hell of a game. You and I will get to watch all of tomorrow's matches from the sidelines. We have the day off as talent are being rotated around, and then we'll be back in action for the arena casts on this weekend. We don't know which games we'll be doing, but I'm going to want a good one. We've been actually quite fortunate, you and I, to get some very good Phase 1 and Phase 2 games.
Yes.
I was hoping that Heretics Oxygen would be a little better, just as I was hoping that Falcons and Team Secret would be a little better, but we got to open up yesterday with Shopify Rebellion versus Team Falcons, which I think you can credibly argue, while not the best overall best of 3 at this event so far, is definitely in that conversation. Wildcard, FaZe, Furia, and Team Falcons, those 4 orgs all have the day off today. They'll be back tomorrow.
Chat, you survived the yapping. We're back through the tech pause, and we are in round 7.
I just see Twitch chat and all that being, why are they talking so much? Well, I hate to break it to you, but if you're new here, that's our job.
Round 7, Auction with a 5-1 lead here on Clubhouse Map 2. They lead the series 1-0. They ban out Grim, which has been Oscar's most played operator here on the bottom floor of Clubhouse. So he has now flexed over to the Ying instead. It is a full anchor setup from Oxygen. So before the rehost, they were playing very roam heavy. They even brought a Clash to try to lock down top red. But this time, being able to change their operators, of course, they've decided to rein things in a little bit. Heretics have read that, I think, pretty quickly. It doesn't seem like they spent too long droning through these top couple of floors. They are not 100% sure the top floor is clear, as we can see by the crosshair place in the viewport, but they're pretty confident there's nobody up above them, and they are correct. 5 anchors sit down in the bottom floor, and we've probably got a good 60 seconds still before this execute comes through and we see anybody dead in the server.
Cannot surrender that opening pick, as this Team Heretics squad has done multiple times on this map and multiple times on Cafe Dostoevsky. All said and done after 12 rounds on Cafe, Team Heretics were pretty close to tying OXG for opening duels, but the North Americans just had the slight upper hand. At this point, you're actually in a 3-3 for opening duels, so Heretics are doing a little bit better.
Sure.
A little bit better than Cafe.
Sure. Yeah.
Which the scoreline doesn't really show that.
No.
But just from an opening, look, Jesse, I'm trying to find good things to say here. Okay, why don't you cut me some slack?
Well, Parker, I'm not going to give you much slack because this brush is about to come on in. We've got the Candelas thrown by Oscar and Gruby staring into the site. Stop potentially for a moment, but as the shots come through, they need to find a way to make this space.
Candela's going off, Logic Bomb's going off, Adam has been dropped, so Heretics looking to strike first. As you got the Mira of Yaga attempting to slow down Gruby from this position. He's made his way into the back of Church. There goes Forrest. Gruby finally dies to Yaga. They'll take up space in response. Yaga still in this position, trying to outduel from multiple angles. But it's a great lockout as Heretics puts the very first round of this second half into the win column. They desperately needed a shot in the arm. They might have just gotten a small one, but they need a second dose. Will it come in the next round?
Good start after the technical timeout. Heretics doubled their round count, Parker, and it's a beautiful push down to the bottom floor of Clubhouse. It was Upor and Skeptic working together on that moto hatch, trying to get in through that bomb site, work their way through the church wall, work their way westwards into the bomb site. At the same time, you saw Gruby and Oscar working over towards blue, so that's two different dimensions to that push, where the attackers are going to have to look east and west, multiple dimensions, pinching the players inside of church, and then Flexi, the lone player not playing with the rest of his team, he was on kitchen hatch, ended up getting a really important kill in the midpoint through that round. Ended up being a very well put together push. I watched it from the top down POV, and it was very nice to see Heretics have that coordination. It can be difficult sometimes to make those pushes come through, but Heretics put it together beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, Oxygen looked very much boxed in. There was nowhere near the extension that we had seen. Now, before we went to the rehost at the start of round 7, it certainly looked like OXG were roaming quite aggressively, but then they dialed it back, and they went with almost a full turtle setup. I don't know if that was the right call to make, because while that bottom floor bomb site is quite roomy, you can easily fit defenders in there, especially if you extend out towards blue and dirt tunnel. You get boxed in a little bit, and you can see that Heretics deliberately selected the right amount of utility to punish those offsite players.
Part of me thinks they were just hoping that Heretics, with how this game has gone, mental might not be there. They might stall themselves out a little bit. They wouldn't have to commit so much to their own game. I think if we see that bomb set again in round 10, we will see a more roam-focused strategy from OXG, but not something to think about right now. Of course, we go to gym and bedroom, and the setup looks pretty standard from Oxygen. You've got Yaga, Forest extending over towards that east side. You've got Gomez and Grixer locking down the bomb site, and then Adam, the connector in the middle, just playing construction. Heretics do look like they want to clear in through CC, so these east players of Forest and Yaga may be the first ones to come into contact.
Fearing that breach as there are mute jammers on the other side, you could get some visibility on the Goyo canister as well, but Flexi's actually found a way to get that drone up and over and can assess what sits inside of Cash. Have to clear out this entire top floor, but Skeptic knows something we don't. He's found his way now into weight room, diffuser in hand, using that single reinforcement to good advantage. A jump out from Forest, knocked over by the air jab. Upor will punish him, and now it's Adam compelled into action, but he's blinded as well. Utility from Heretics is still so good. Finally, a kill for Oxygen as Adam punishes Skeptic. That'll be diffuser dropped inside the site. It'll need to be retrieved by the Europeans with half of the round still to go. This is recoverable, but not if Adam is hitting shots like that. He almost gets a third, scampers off as the nade lands in his lap, and he'll now head into construction, building towards a big moment for OXG.
A+ is on me play from Adam. He's been doing so much work for this team so far. He's just tucked up to the windows so they can't get a good angle on him, but if he has to cross the windows, use those Kibas to make yourself safe. They have to try to reform this attack now if you're Heretics, right? They've taken a pause, still a 3v3. They've got two players outside on the windows and then one player over towards the Jacuzzi breach. That's Gruby over in that position. Diffuse kit dropped inside of Jim. That has to be where they end, just given the early death they had.
3v3 now, Oscar taking up this diffuse kit, still sitting on that weight rack. Oxygen giving them plenty of time to work with. Not swinging. A tough position for Gomez. Caught by Groomy on the cut. Adam taking down Upor. He's all by himself. Yaga's been down. Is that information in hand for Heretics? Is now Gruby getting far more active. Time for Adam to get Yaga up. It will allow Oscar to get Diffuse Kid down. Adam sees him. Another great round from Adam. Could be the bow to tie up this round and send OXG to series point. A fire out from Adam, but he mistimes his shots, not looking in the right way. Taking him down, a quad kill from Adam. Gruby now on this jacuzzi window, watching the diffuse kit. He's got a great vantage point. He can catch the rotate. He can easily swing over as well and get the hallway. Down goes Adam, no ace. Gruby showing some Polish power, and Yaga dies as well.
Baby, let's go!
Heretics put two together. This gap is closing in a hurry. Still a great spot to be for the North Americans, but Heretics are fighting back.
A busy round, Parker, with a lot going on. It starts with a fast push in through the gym window. It feels like they've got a plant position, but Adam's very fast to rotate from Con back over to the bomb site. He plays very safe around those windows, hits some disgusting shots to give Oxygen the heavy man advantage. But in the 3v3, Heretics do a couple things really well. Number one, they do show a couple of drones. They show a couple of pressure over towards Cash side. That draws Adam back. As long as Adam is not playing inside a master, tucked close on those south windows, he can't stop stop an immediate jump in through the gym window like he wasn't able to previously. Then the crossfires are perfect. They've got the plant going down inside a gym. They've got one outside the master windows, and then Groovy sitting on the main breach. While their windows player goes down, it is Groovy on the breach who is the absolute hero. Such an experienced player Groovy is, Parker. He's been in Pro League since 2022 when he first signed with Team Secret, was on that squad for 29 months for a brief stint with Fnatic at the start of the year, then dropped down to Tier 2 on this Project Zero team where he has been the majority of this season. Ridiculously good clutch from Groovy. That is the experience that you see shining through from the young player.
Groovy's numbers now starting to go positive after a rough first map, but again, everybody not named Flexi had a bad first map. For Heretics, these are high-impact kills from the Polish player on Heretics. Yaga leading the way from kills on OXG. Worth mentioning because, again, on his role, that's not what he should be doing. He came in as one of the worst-rated players and was the lowest-rated player through several days of Phase 1. Again, getting accustomed to IGLing a team at the biggest event of the year when you manage to make it in through the LCQs is a often thankless task.
Yeah.
So Yaga being able to frag well against Heretics, that's giving some breathing room to OXG.
Yaga's going to have to pull the team back together mentally, Parker. They were up 5-1 in this series. It's been 2 back from Heretics to get themselves into this game once more. If they can win this, they'll force a third, and at that point, you got to imagine the momentum will be with the Europeans. But Oxygen, I'd still rather be them. They've got only 2 more rounds to win, and it's the CCTV Cache tertiary site that's coming up against them for the 9th round of this map.
What the hell is this?
This is a...
No Kibas, FMG in hand for a smoke, dry holding rafters.
They reinforced the full both walls as well, Parker, so even if they take this, it's not the end of the world. Very much a forest play if I've ever seen one.
Maybe I look like an idiot because I don't understand this, but I am stunned as to what is going on here. Usually you see an Azami in that position with some backup from maybe a Jaeger or Wamai, heavy investment. That's not the case. Very much a forest play are words that strike fear in everybody's hearts.
Well, he's still surviving, Parker. They haven't put much utility over towards Rafters, which could give him a good shot. It's Grixer who strikes first to take down Oscar, and Adam hunting for a jump out. He'll get it if he finds Flexi with timing.
I was going to say, Grixer's still in a really good spot. Flexi needs to cover multiple windows, and anybody who's played on Clubhouse, amateur or casually, knows how tough this can be. Now imagine doing that at a professional level. I know every bullet counts. Flexi will have to be very careful about what he does. That's a missed opportunity by Yaga. He should have had that one. Upor has broken this round open, as have Heretics. Now doubling up on OXG with 30 seconds to go. The attackers are winning way more than you'd suspect on this map. Gomez, the last man standing on Oxygen, as Upor takes no prisoners.
Let's fucking go!
This was 5-1. What is going on?
Heretics pick apart that defense, Parker, and you got to start wondering if Oxygen start to ring the alarm bells anytime soon with their TAC timeout. They'll have to ban a set of operators first, and this is going to be really important. What can they ban to stop Heretics from going with these aggressive little executes where they've really been able to set things up? It'll be the Ying that they choose to remove before the timeout.
And you were spot on. Crank your volume as loud as you can because it's timeout time.
Too, you know, because you can also close for the second half, they did that. So I think we're gonna display flash, okay, guys, look at our bands. Like, we remove all the cheese off, so they gotta finish. So let's close it out with flash, you know, and for the other side, we can bring more traps, you know, because they're gonna keep trying to do that shit, like jump windows, so just cheese these guys, bro. Like, you guys telegraph perfectly everything. You guys got this, okay?
Let's split and wear back to side, right? Yeah. Ban all the execute ops.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's Kizzy, the 29-year-old Brazilian coach of Oxygen Esports, hoping to give some strats over to his boys to get these last 2 rounds locked down for Oxygen. Heretics have done a really good job of putting together executes, and much like the first 3 rounds when Oxygen were on attack, it feels like the defenders aren't doing enough in the early round to disrupt the execute, to disrupt what the attackers want to do, to put some of these pushes together. In that previous round, it was as simple as Upor walking in the main breach, finding a couple of big angles. It felt like they had maybe made a mistake leaving the fire extinguisher up. Then that said, there was a warden on the other side of things, so maybe it was even just being used to try to bait out a push, try to force them to use that fire extinguisher smoke so that Yaga could then make something happen with the warden. In either case, nothing really works from that play. They end up losing Yaga on a fast pushing through the breach. The coordination from Forest just not quite timed well enough. And even without control of Raptors, even without control of Jim, these two teams are having a lot of success attacking onto that CC site without any map control at all, really.
I am just stunned at what we are witnessing on Clubhouse. Through 9 rounds, there has been a single defender victory. This is a defender-sided map. I understand that, again, it comes down to style with teams and operator bans, but 1 round on Clubhouse. It really does beg our belief as to what these teams are doing. You highlighted early on how poor Heretics have been on this map consistently throughout the event, and they are putting in a damn good showing with their backs against the wall. Suddenly, this third map of Bank looking more and more likely.
I haven't really highlighted it because Auction chose this map, and I have faith they did it with confidence, but Auction also aren't a good club team historically. In the last chance qualifiers, they lost 3 times, twice to Dark Zero and once to Wildcard, so it's not like this is a great map for OXG, but you got to imagine you're picking it in the lower bracket of the Six Invitational. You have improved slightly since losing to Dark Zero in the SILCQ, so hopefully we can see Auction put together some of these defenses. Hopefully we can see what they've been working on after the TAC timeout has come through. It started with a roam. Both Yaga and Adam were beginning the round on the top floor, but they've made their way back down. You watched Yaga watch down those blue stairs to make it over towards his teammates, and it now ends up being a 5-man hold down in the bottom floor. The utility on Heretics, a little bit light. You don't have the Ying anymore, of course, getting banned out previously. The Grim and the Capitao also both getting removed. I would suspect that this defense should hold from Auction because they don't have very much disruption on the side of Heretics. But if they can work some picks through the vert, if they can find somebody overstepping, if they can get one of those picks early, either with the hard breach or maybe with Groovy making a distraction on the Blackbeard, it is still winnable for Heretics. They just don't have the best tools to make it happen.
A lot of pugilism. Good guns, fragging potential, and I mean, sometimes, Jesse, we can theory craft all the gadgetry in the world, and it still just comes down to who managed to hit their shots a little bit better. Now, they cannot allow the gadgetry of Oxygen to trip them up. It's been an incredible run in this second half here for the attackers. Gomez dies early. Groovy gets traded out. Forrest will eat the dust as well. This is a rough go of it now from Oxygen. Adam gambling what little remains of his HP, and he's good enough for a double. A third is within arm's reach. Skeptic will get the diffuser down, and they will lose the other side of the bomb site. Yaga punished as well. Adam in a 1v3. Team Heretics embarrassing Oxygen on this second half. Skeptic, a massive end of the round, and it's a tie game. 20 minutes ago, it looked like we were about to be out of here with a 2-0, and yet the improbable has happened. The impossible still to come. Heretics tying things up.
Oxygen look petrified. Parker, they're in the bomb site, sure, but they're so far back inside of Armory. They're so far away from the action. There's a lot of fighting happening around blue, and Adam does his best to try to get his team to lead, fighting tooth and nail in that enclosed space. But that whole time, Skeptic just waltzes down the Moto hatch, walks us through the church wall, gets a plant down. Nobody is even aware that this play is happening. Oxygen are so far back inside of Armory, and I like the play with Yaga on the Clash to try to get close, to cross that main hallway so that the bottom of main stairs player can't cut him off. There's good ideas behind that, but it's way too late. Every one of OXG's players is basically behind Adam at this point. Nobody's able to respond to the church plants. It's really just a problem in positioning for OXG, and Heretics, they spot the gap. They adapt to what their opponents are doing. This just feels like what they have done throughout the group stage here at the Six Invitational. Maybe it's a slow start, but once they can read their opponents, once they can find that gap, they power up.
attackers must
I mean, we've been singing the praises of Yaga so much, but one thing we haven't touched upon is how outside of Adam, nobody is winning their duels on OXG. That was the case on the first half. It is now carried over to the second.
Yeah.
Again, all of the Oxygen players entered this matchup with a negative KD, so there was plenty of time for them to make up for those poor performances. We saw it in map number 1 with, I think everybody on the team actually went positive back on Cafe. I'll have to check my numbers very quickly. But here, things are grim. You picked this map. You're on the better side. You are getting beaten quite soundly as we are seeing European excellence all over the screen.
Another roam clear has started with speed for Heretics. They've got the momentum. They want to run with it very quick to open up that CC wall. Not going to be a problem as these roamers will start to face a little bit of pressure. Oscar over here, along with the ace being played, of course, by Groovy. So these two players can start to work on this side of the map. But at the same time, the jacuzzi wall is being opened up. There is some play over towards the Logi hatch as well. The players on Heretics can start to rotate around this map because they've got control of CC, so the main windows look very comfortable for them. A lot of different angles are being opened up, and it's on Oxygen to keep an eye out for everything. Make sure your head is on a swivel and you don't get caught off for where this push eventually comes.
Who will strike first as we hit the halfway point of this round? And both of these teams, their swords are dry. Is Upor on the previous round to get a, I believe it was a 3K or a 2K? The last time they went upstairs. Groovy struck first on round number 10. Skeptic had also drawn first blood previously in this half. So 3 separate players on Heretics able to punish OXG before there's been a response from the team in green. Now it's Flexi looking for an opening. A Deimos track will go in onto Yaga. I think he's about as good a target as you're going to find, and Upor needs to worry about his life as he's playing by that Khan's window. Adam has lurked there for a long time. His patience yet to be rewarded.
Skeptic is almost in the site, by the way. He's right here outside the door, but shut down by the position from Logi. Gomez gets the first kill, and now it's the 4v2 for Oxygen.
And they are just going to sweep right through them. Heretics with very little they can do. Oscar hoping for the best. Kept at bay by the Flames. Bedroom just out of reach for the time being, and there's still a clash on the board, so his job is mighty difficult. Flames gone, but a Banshee is there to slow him down, giving his position away. Patience from OXG, and Grixer, along with the rest of Oxygen, will all compete for that final kill. It was a long time of waiting to get to this point, but Oxygen find themselves one round away from advancing here in the lower bracket, sending Heretics home.
Just when it felt like it was going to be over, just when the momentum looked too strong, Oxygen do what they need to secure series point, one round away from meeting Fluxo W7M in the lower bracket. That push from Heretics, it tries to come from multiple different angles, Parker. We were watching a lot of the pressure happen over towards that construction side of the map, but instead it was the push up the main stairs from Flexi, which resulted in the opening death. Skeptic with the defuse kit was right behind him, hoping his entry player could make some space for him, but instead Skeptic ended up going down from a second angle. Adam and Gomez in towards the site were so ready for that second dimension to the push. They weren't caught off guard by it, and it looks very different from the previous round. Here's a great top-down POV. See all the players in the top left. Groovy, you've got Skeptic, you've got Flexi. These players are all trying to make something happen elsewhere on the map over towards the top left, and no matter where the pressure came from, OXG were ready for it. If they can do that one more time, if they can lock that down for a final round, they'll be moving on and knocking Heretics out of the Invitational.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Waiting for your command. Finally, someone around here.
Yet to say goodbye to a European team. We said goodbye to our first Brazilian team earlier today with Ninjas in Pajamas.
Black Dragons.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
In groups.
I forgot about them.
And kind of elevates. I count them. You don't have to.
They're an APAC team.
Yeah, they're Brazilian.
They're Brazilian people in an APAC world.
They're a Brazilian team in APL.
I feel like this is just a game of semantics at this point.
Regardless, Brazil's gone home with Black Dragons, okay? Doesn't matter.
I should have known that too because the Black Dragons practice room is directly across from my door, so I should have realized. The sign is still up as of this morning, by the way. So I don't know how long they're staying. First Brazilian team to go here in Phase 2. So Ninjas in Pajamas, we said goodbye to Will we see the first European team go home? The next 2 minutes will determine whether OXG can escape the scare on their map. And I mean, it's a scary result, sure, but OXG still has one more game today should they persevere.
Yep.
If Heretics win here, we go to bank as the decider. All the while, Fluxo W7M is sitting on the sidelines watching these games with great interest.
It's a Jaeger Wamai set up for Rafters this time, Parker, so no smoke coming through this time from Forest. It's set up a little bit more traditionally. Castle barricades down below could keep someone safe for a late C4. Nobody down there at the moment. The only roamer off the site is actually Adam, currently playing in the basement on that Jaeger position, hoping to be around bottom garage to assist his teammate. No Capitao to be brought. They don't have a great way to move this player out. The nades will do their best, but Forest does not have to move. Stared at by a glass? Who cares?
Flashbangs getting eaten up, nades getting eaten up. Those ADSs will regenerate as well, so you hear them come back online. They're expecting the push over towards stairs, and if they get brazen enough to do that, Adam is there to cover, but he gets shut down by Groovy. I like this read from Heretics so far. They have a big advantage because of it, Jesse.
Yeah, really just good from Forrest, playing his life, knows he doesn't have to peek until now.
And he's surprised to see half of the Heretics team underneath him.
At least he got skeptic before he went, Parker. That's as good as you can ask for Forrest. He's likely going to get cleared anyways with that util gone. The jump out, hey, might give a little bit of extra time to the attackers, but in the end, he's done at least enough to get one kill.
Yaga might need to be a bit more forward here as his gas canister goes through the ROU projector. Heretics doubling up on OXG. Grixer and Yaga will have to do some serious work. Yaga is down below, or Grixer is down below with 2 impacts in pocket, leaving Yaga to hold against this. But that breach isn't open as much as Heretics would like, and it can be blanketed with smoke. Last one tossed out by Yaga, keeping them at bay. SMG ready! He backs away from the second engagement, reloads in time, can't get through the breach. Grixer now ascending over towards Rafters. Can he get to Upor to shut this down? Yes, he can, and he wins it on time! Poor coverage from Heretics, and a stunning finish to send Heretics home!
That's back-to-back round 12 clutches. That's back-to-back plays.
My goodness, the frustration on the face of Heretics. What a defeating end to their SI run.
Grixer is so ridiculous in these late rounds, Parker, both on Cafe and on Clubhouse. He makes a game-winning play when things look lost, when things look like they should go for Heretics. It's 7-5, 7-5, and the former player of Shopify Rebellion is the main reason OXG win both of those maps.
I am just speechless. I am paid for my words, but right now I'm working for free. That was an incredible map too. It seemed like Heretics were going to claw this one back with overtime. Very, very likely, but OXG managed to pull it off with the late round heroics, and they move on to a date with Fluxo W7M later today. Oh my word, what more is there to say?
Yeah, what a match, ultimately, Parker. Just a ridiculous set of rounds coming out from both Heretics and OXG. Heretics, lots to be proud of at this Six Invitational. A Tier 2 team. They're not competing in the EML in the official Tier 1 region, yet still proving that they're better than a lot of the EML teams playing in the full circuits. Lots to be proud of, but ultimately no more. They will go home after this result, sent packing home from the Six Invitational, and Oxygen will move on.
Numbers a lot better on Heretics' side, but that means nothing if the number above you doesn't hit 7, or in some cases 8, I suppose. OXG, a very scrappy team that you underestimate at your peril. I think Team Heretics, as we now say goodbye to them, joining a growing list of teams whose time at the Six Invitational has drawn to a close, were a lot better than many might have thought. I know that the casual viewers might not have been the most familiar with this Team Heretics squad, but I promise you, they are good, and if they manage to make it to EML, I do think this roster could make some serious noise.
Yeah, I think no doubt about it. We'll keep seeing these 5 names in the Tier 1 circuits in the future. They all have, I think, earned a spot to play in the highest regions. But today, their day is done. You saw Adam getting the MVP start to finish. Adam played phenomenal today, Parker. I think a little bit higher impact plays from Grixer just at the very tail ends of map 1 and 2, but nothing to take away from Adam either. He played so well from the very start of this series.
The main knock against Grixer as a player has always been that he's live. He's alive at the very end. and maybe doesn't exactly have the same impact on the actual execute as he should, but then you get moments like that and you say you've completely redeemed yourself. So with that said, we're halfway through the day, but we still have to send more teams home and more teams up the lower bracket.